Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Leonidas. Thanks for being here today. Myself, on behalf of Unicaf, we welcome you to today's webinar, which is a session, one of the many Unicaf webinar series that are going to follow. And it's my great pleasure to be with you today. I want to thank you all. I can see that the number of attendees is increasing. Many of you use the chat to welcome everyone. This is great. Please bear in mind that while I talk, I won't be able to respond in writing to everyone, but please use the chat as you want. Engage with your friends and colleagues, interact. This interaction is amazing. But I will continue normally, and let me also open the PowerPoint presentation that I have here for you, because that will be a very nice guide during the WebEx session. So to start with, let me ask you please to take a pen. You will need a pen or a pencil, because, and let me share, of course, my screen with you. You'll need a pen or a pencil. 1 second, please, just to make sure that everything has been shared properly. All right. Okay. 1 second, please. So, as I was saying, please find an A4 piece of paper, very important, because we're going to use some written exercises together. A pen, yeah, or a pencil, very, very important, so you can write, and these writings are extremely important. Also, I want you, please, to be ready at all times, because some of the exercise require your very fast response and reaction. Yeah, so I may ask you something, and you will have to think. Yeah, everything is about thinking in today's session. Very, very important. We're here to think a lot and search inside ourselves and come up with solutions and answers. So you may have to be ready, because as I said, in some questions, you may have like 10 seconds to think and write down one keyword. Okay? These kind of exercises are extremely important, if we want to conduct and plan for a career management in an objective, credible, and accurate manner. Also, if you have a tea or coffee, please bring it, so you can make yourself comfortable and enjoy today's webinar. What else? Yeah, another one point that I would like to share with you, while I'm still attempting to share my my screen. Sorry, I'm talking at the same time through the chat with the IT department. Give me a second, please. I apologize for this, but all these things happen during live sessions. So I made an attempt to share my screen unsuccessfully, and I'm informing right now the IT department. They will intervene and everything will be fixed. Yep, it has been fixed. I want to express my appreciation to George, who's working in the background. Thank you very much for this. So what else as an introduction? Very important, guys. Out of today's session, I don't want you to learn 100 different things. Yeah, it's not about quantity. What I want you to learn today and take with you by the end of this webinar is 2 things. Just 2 pieces of information or 2 tools that will be so powerful and so important that can change your future career. Okay? We're going to go through several stuff and tools and exercises. You can select and decide what is important to you and use it. Okay? So if you take with you today, by the end of this session, 1 or 2 important things that can help you in your future career, they may be enough to change your life. Okay? So let's get started. Let's get cracking. And as I said, you need a pencil or a pen, a piece of paper, your coffee, and here we go. First of all, in a very brief way, let me list the things that we're going to go through today, so you have an idea about how we are moving forward. First of all, we are going to explain why we are here. Career management. Why do we manage our career? What is career management? What is career planning? Why did I ask you to participate in this? Why did you choose to participate in this career management session? Second, we are going to conduct, as I said earlier, a number of exercises aiming to discover our inner self, our interests, our values, our competencies and skills, because all these are extremely important to know when planning for your future career, your current and your future career. And then the third point, what we're going to do, we are going to match those interests and values and skills with the skills that we offer here at Unicaf. The skills and the knowledge and experiences that we are expected to accumulate here at Unicaf can be used in career management, can be matched to your own interests. So Unicaf is here to facilitate the process of career management and enhance your career prospects. But to do so, you need to match the specific skills and experiences that you have the opportunity to accumulate with Unicaf with your personal interests and skills. Yeah, we're going to see how in a little bit. Then, as you can see in number 4, we will discuss about branding yourself. Yeah, we will see the difference between a brand and a product. You don't want to be a product, you want to be a brand, inside and outside the workplace. We're going to see this in a bit. Number 5, we'll run another exercise right there to discover your interests and values. That's once again part of knowing yourself. Number 6, we'll refer to strategizing, because professional development is indeed about strategizing. So we are going to explain what strategizing is and how to set your own personal goals. Actually, most of the points here, like strategizing, setting goals, and etc., can relate to a corporate environment. So basically, we are using tools that corporations use, but we apply them on your own particular case, each individual for himself, for herself. Point 7, we are going to distinguish between career ladder and career lattice and link this to future industry expectations. And the final point, 8, we will discuss a bit about the importance of developing a network as part of your career management and then leveraging that network. So very, very briefly, and I think we can get cracking with the actual material. We have more than 20 participants so far, and this is amazing. Yeah, very, very interesting. And I assume that this number is going to increase even further because we had more than 300 interested individuals to participate in this WebEx. We'll see. So let's start. Why are we here? Why am I here talking to you about career management? And why are you participating in this career management webinar? And the first answer is because career management is an ongoing process that everyone should engage with. It's not a job search. I mean, you can do career management if you're looking for work, or you can conduct career management and planning if you want to change employer. I mean, most possibly, the students participating in today's webinars are also practitioners. You work for 5, 10, 20 years in one organization. So you could conduct career management to change employer, to change a sector, to change an industry, to change work. But again, not necessarily. I mean, look at me. I work at Unicaf for several years. I don't want to change employer. I'm an academic. I really enjoy teaching. I'm not going to change industry or sector. In fact, I want to keep teaching until I retire. So it's not, career management is not necessarily about searching for a new job or changing career or changing employer. Career management is all that plus personal development in a strategic and systematic manner. I want to keep improving within my organization. I want to become one of the best in my field. I want to improve my competences, my skills. I want to overcome competition. I want to remain competitive. I want to leverage my network. So it could be because someone wants to change job or career, and many people change career at a later age, and they're thinking, oh, they're wondering, why did I wait for so long? That's my last job, I had to do it earlier. Or it could be just because you want to self-improve and become better, okay? And then, of course, even move in the ladder, in the lattice, okay? So it's not a job search. It is an ongoing process that everyone is expected to participate in. What else? Why are we here today? We are here because your job is part of your identity. Don't forget, everyone, we spend most of our lives at work. If you count the time that you need to commute to your work, either on foot or bicycle or train or bus, the time you spend at your work, the time you need to return back home commuting, and the time you spend sometimes even at home working from home after hour, you'll realize that most of our life is spent at work, and this is fine because work is a social process. It's nice. You go to work, you meet people, you have fun, you enjoy your life, you drink coffee together. So work is important, but it's also part of your identity. So career management can help you match your work with your identity inside and outside the workplace. Another point, you are the only person in the world who knows what your interests are, okay? You are the only person who knows what your interests are, your values, your strongest skills, what job activities make you happy, what kind of environment you want to work in, how you can match your abilities with particular work processes, and all these are part of your interest. So you are the only ones who can decide for yourself based on what you like. And let me give you another perspective about interests, guys. Interests, internal interests, the things that you value most, are linked to work in a way that generate wider satisfaction. So if you don't like the work you do because it doesn't match your interest, you'll be a sad and unhappy person. But if you go to work every morning and you know you're going to perform something that relates to your interest, you'll be a very happy person. Remember, you can always learn a new skill, but it's very, very difficult to do a work that gives you satisfaction. Okay, so you can learn needed skills, but it's harder to build a sense of connection to a work that doesn't interest you. Okay, so your interests also relate to the wider approach you have in life. Let me give you an example. If you like numbers and if you like quantification, maybe you spend most of your free time keeping statistics about your favorite football team and etc. So this kind of interest can also be exercised at the workplace, so the result to job satisfaction. All right, final point. You are responsible for your career, okay? Let's make this clear. No one else is. Maybe your boss, your company is responsible by 1%, yeah? They can offer you some personal development schemes at work, that's fine. But the remaining 99% of responsibility lies with you. If you don't care about your career, no one will. If you don't plan, if you don't manage your career, no one will, okay? It's a personal thing. It's yours, all right? Work on it. So, the very first step in every career management session is to understand yourself and get to know yourself. Yeah? You need a self-evaluation. And when we say a self-evaluation, we mean you need to be able to identify your areas in which you are really strong, yeah, your competencies, your strengths. You also need to be able to identify your weaknesses, yeah, because if you cannot identify your weaknesses, you cannot improve them. You also need to be able to locate yourself in relation to the competition. You don't exist in a vacuum, right? You have certain strengths as an individual and certain personal merits, but you have competition out there. Let me give you an example. You apply for a job. Another 1,000 persons will apply for the same job. So it's extremely important to identify your strengths, identify your weaknesses, and position yourself in relation to the opportunities and threats existing in the external environment. Very, very important. Often we are participating in interviews, in job interviews, and this is something we are going to explore afterwards, of course. And we appear in the interviews totally unprepared. And we receive questions like, okay, tell us what your best strength is and give us examples of these strengths, and we don't know what to answer. Or then maybe we receive another question saying, okay, according to your CV, you have never worked in this position before. How are you going to go about it if we hire you? And your answer, of course, at that point is, I fully understand that I don't have previous experience in this particular job, in this particular position, is one of my weakness. However, as you can see, as I said earlier, one of my strengths is that I'm very patient and I learn really fast. And as a result, I'll be able to learn the requirements and contribute in a very credible manner. So don't judge me now. Judge me in 6 months from now, when I'll have the chance to improve and learn and familiarize myself with the surroundings and get better. That's a possible answer. So I'm just giving you an example of how important it is to know yourself, your competences, your interests, your values, your weaknesses, and how you locate yourself to the rest of the environment, the drivers of change out there, that includes competing applicants who want to get the same position like you. Yeah. In order to identify and self-investigate, we can use a tool which is called SWOT analysis. The acronyms stand for the following: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. This is one of the tools that companies use to conduct a self-evaluation of their internal environment and how they can grab opportunities and deal with threats in the external environment. We can take this tool, which is used in the corporate world, and use it on ourselves. Okay, so let's start our very first exercise. And what I want you to do right now is to take a piece of paper and draw a cross like the one you can see on your screen. So draw a cross in a way that helps you develop 4 different boxes. In the first box, write strengths, a very big S. In the second box, write weaknesses. In the third, write opportunities, or just O. You can just use the acronyms. And in the fourth, write a T for threats. So it should look like this, yeah? Strengths, opportunities, threats. And you have 1 minute only to write down 1 strength of yourself. You need to search inside your inner self and come up with 1 answer. What is your biggest strength? 1 point in the weaknesses box. What is your major weakness? 1 opportunity and 1 threat. You can start now. You have 1 minute. While doing that, you can also stare at the screen. I've got some examples for you right here. For instance, strengths, your strongest skill. Are you having good communication skills? That's a soft skill, yeah? Are you good in 1 particular hard skill? For instance, are you expert in 1 particular technical aspect? Write it down at work. Or weakness, maybe you have poor teamwork skills. Are you impatient? Opportunities to complete your degree or postgraduate degree with Unicaf. Or maybe employer beneficial policies or government training that you can participate in. Threats. What are your obstacles in your way? Competing applicants, technologies or languages that you cannot master or speak. Yeah? Write them down. One in each box, please. All right. Is anyone in here who would like to use the chat and tell us 1 of your strengths or weaknesses? You don't have to, yeah? I mean, this is personal elements, personal information. You don't necessarily have to do that. But if anyone wants to do it, you can actually use the chat. Yeah. Let me see. What do we have here? Anyone who wants to use the chat and tell us your strongest skill? Work under minimum supervision. This comes from Binatari. Thank you very much. So your strength is working without necessarily being supervised. Yeah. So you are credible enough and you can produce accurate work. Smartness. All right. Any weaknesses, please? Anyone who would like to share his weakness with us? Like my weakness, I'm impatient, and this is very, very, very bad. I need to improve it. It's very important to know our weaknesses. If we don't know our weaknesses, we cannot improve them. Let's see what we have here. Benson, poor communication skills. Teamwork with unreasonable persons. Always start and fail to finish. So you need to work on your final touches, Samuel. You need to make sure that you improve your skills on completing a deliverable or a task. That's very, very important. I think many of us have this issue, this weakness, and we all need to improve it. Binatari opportunities. Good at getting along with kids. That's very nice. That's very nice, especially if it has to do with your industry. Nathanael, I'm multifaceted, astute, communication skills. Excellent. Weaknesses by Annie. Sometimes I'm slow in treating some files. Okay, that's nice. What I find extremely interesting here is that the weaknesses you mentioned can be improved. Threats by Banatari. Do poorly at being good at a particular area of expertise. Okay, so given that you can work unsupervised, you need to improve your expertise in one particular area. Reading can help you. So let's move on. Let me share my screen again, guys. Let me share my screen and let's go back to the presentation. Thank you so much for your contribution. About 30 participants right now. This is great. Let's move on. Here, second exercise. Remember, you have conducted a self-identification exercise using the SMART tool, yeah, which is great. It's great. But remember, everything you do should be objective. The biggest enemy of career management is not to be objective enough. So someone mentioned earlier, by Natari, that he can work, she can work, any of you, it applies to everyone, he, she, unsupervised. Someone else said that he's very good in a different field. Banatari said that he's a smart person. But if I was able to ask your previous job boss, your previous boss or your previous manager to rate your performance from 1 to 10, what do you think his or her response will be? So let's go back. I repeat the question. How would your previous boss rate your performance from 1 to 10? Okay, let me go to the chat once again. Binatari, how would your previous boss rate you from 1 to 10? Annie, Nathanael, Benson, Samuel, anyone? Benson, 7. Thank you. That's a very nice and honest answer. Binatari, I think 8 out of 10. Thank you. Who else? 9, Nelson Collins. Samuel, 5. That means you could do things to improve. Annie, 8. Because they always call me back to take job, Banatari says. That's amazing. Nathanael, 7. Peace, 8. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back to the to sharing my screen. Very, very interesting. Now, remember, you may well appear tomorrow in a job interview. You may decide to use career management for all sorts of reasons, for personal development, you name it. You need to be objective. And one way to be objective on your personal identification that we discussed earlier, yeah, through the SWOT, is by asking questions like, how would your previous job rate your performance? Another question, what would they say are your biggest strengths, with examples? For instance, someone may say, well, I'm very good in crisis management. Okay, fair enough. Can you give me some examples? Can you give me an example of a situation where a crisis occurred and you led the crisis management process? So remember, when you if you appear in a job interview tomorrow and you claim things, you should be able to objectively support them, because they may ask you. You can say, I'm very good in communication skills. Okay, thank you, Benson, well done. But can you give me an example of enhanced communication at work because of your skills? Yeah, so be objective. Another question, what will past bosses say are your improvement areas? Because someone may want to call your boss, and this of course is called back check. Yeah, after an interview you have a number of referees, and the new potential employer may call your existing or previous employer to find out about you. So it's better to know these points in advance. What will past bosses say are your improvement areas? And what did you do to improve them in the meantime? Yeah? Be objective. Be self-conscious. Know yourself. Be familiar with your strengths and weaknesses and competencies and skills in an objective manner. Yeah? What can you take out of your Unicaf experience? And now we are going to match the skills that you have self-identified earlier with your experience here at Unicaf. That will be a very interesting section, because you are all studying with Unicaf, or maybe some of you plan to study with Unicaf. Yeah? And here is how Unicaf is giving you an opportunity to improve your skills. And remember something very, very important. At Unicaf, you learn the things that are part of a module, a course, that appears on a specific pathway on a program. For instance, an MBA program has a number of learning outcomes and is comprised by a number of modules, where each module has a number of learning outcomes, and all these together comprise the program. But Unicaf, through its mode of learning, offers additional skills, because one of the main questions we have here at Unicaf is the following: how do we prepare our students for the industry? Yeah, so learning is multidimensional. It's not just about the content of a particular module, course. It's also about how you develop additional skills that can help you manage your career better. Let's see some examples. We call it the Unicaf mix of experience. Yeah? So, first point, right here. We ask you to navigate electronic platforms. The main Unicaf platform is the VLE, right? The virtual learning environment, where you can find your weekly readings, correct? And you can also find your electronic resources, the built-in messaging system, the weekly tasks, and etc. But that particular platform is linked to other platforms. For instance, if you hit on the digital library, you are directed to another platform where you can conduct search for your assignments. So that's another platform. And then there is another platform which is called the student page, and you can visit and see your grades, etc. So the question here is the following: while working on all these platforms as part of your studies with Unicaf, what skills do you develop? The answer: technology skills. Yeah? You improve your technology. You familiarize yourself with working with platforms. Because the future work is about platforms. Yeah? Wikis, intranets, project management software, analytics, all this can be located, found, and used through platforms. So you improve your technology skills. Remember that. You can use it during a future interview. Let's move on. Formative tasks, summative work, and emails are part of your daily life at Unicaf. You need to complete essays. You need to complete formative tasks that lead to those essays. They help you accumulate knowledge. You need to use the emailing system, which is built-in, the built-in messaging system of the platform, the VLE, to communicate with colleagues and lecturers, yeah, your tutors. What skills do you develop out of that? Writing skills, okay? It's writing skills. It's about writing and writing and writing in an academically sound and professional manner. So while writing, you learn the skills, the principles of academic writing, paraphrasing, no copying and pasting, drafting professional emails where you salute your reader: dear lecturer, I hope you are well. I'm contacting you for this and this reason. I kindly expect your response. Kind regards, Benson. Professional writing. Then, every week, you are expected to participate in formal and informal interaction between peers. Yeah? This interaction, this continuous interaction, results to communication. Yeah? So, you are expected to improve your communication skills while working as part of a team or as part of a cohort in a virtual classroom. And one of your colleagues said earlier, when I asked you to come up with your weaknesses, your colleague said, I have poor communication skills. Well, with Unicaf, you have a great opportunity to push your learning of an improvement of communication skills to its limits, yeah, through the platforms. Then, collaboration for peer tasks and liaising with colleagues. As you know, every week you have to engage with formative tasks, and this is a requirement, not necessarily because it's compulsory, but because is part of our continuous assessment, is the fifth point. I'm going to come to the fifth point later. Now I'm still discussing the fourth point. Collaboration for peer tasks, liaising with colleagues, who's going to do what, who's going to upload what kind of skills do you get out of this experience? Teamwork. Another student mentioned that he or she has, I can't recall who was it, poor teamwork skills. Yeah? So the point here is teamwork. You get to learn how to survive and champion teamwork situations. And the final point, continuous assessment. Here at Unicaf, you are expected to complete formative tasks that result to summative essays. I mean, they lead to summative essays, accumulate knowledge before submit a summative piece of work. That point results to critical thinking. Critical thinking, critical writing. What is critical thinking? Critical thinking is the ability of bringing together differing viewpoints, differing views, contradictory views, and after you have investigated and interpreted all differing viewpoints, be able to write and express your own opinion about it. For instance, according to Green, a study that has been published in 2010, the phenomenon of workplace harassment is this and that, but a more recent study that was published by Brown in 2020 suggests that workplace violence and harassment results because of that. Two different point of views. My opinion is that after evaluating all different viewpoints, is that workplace harassment is the result or occurs because of this and that reasons. So that's critical thinking and critical writing, okay? So, while studying with Unicaf, remember to keep technology skills, writing skills, communication skills, teamwork skills, critical thinking. These are just some among the many skills you are expected to improve while you're studying here at Unicaf. Don't forget to include them in your management of your career, a future interview, and etc. However, as I said earlier, to be able to manage your career properly, you need to identify your core interests, your values, and your strongest skills and weaknesses in an objective manner, okay? So, what do you value most? Have a look at this nice cartoon. The employer offers to the bear 2 weeks of hibernation a year. Is 2 weeks enough for a bear to hibernate? Or is it 3 months a more appropriate answer? What do you value most? What is it important to you? A salary? What do you value most from your employer? A salary, benefits like insurance, or a pension plan, or profit sharing, time release, or flexibility when it comes to time, like being able to work part-time when you're pregnant, for instance. Career path, so you can see yourself improving. What is it? What are your values? What are your the things you value most? The good working conditions? This is up to you to decide. And I want you in 10 seconds to use the chat. I'm going to stop sharing. And I would love to ask you guys to tell me one motivator that you value most at work. You decide now. It could be career path, it could be money, financial motivations, it could be working conditions, it could be something relating to time, it could be benefits like profit sharing. Please choose one and tell me now. Just type it in the chat. Okay, satisfying work. Loving what I do. So Banatari will value his work if, or her work, if the work is what he or she loves doing. Financial freedom by Sylvan. Banatari, thank you Banatari, excellent. So Banatari will be satisfied if he loves what he's doing. Sylvan, financial freedom. Now, when it comes to finances, remember that money is not a motivation factor because it's something that is taken for granted. Yeah, you should be compensated. But obviously, Sylvan wants to highlight that being compensated fairly and properly is important. Actually, very well, Samuel, working condition. So let me go back to Sylvan's point. Sylvan, will you be satisfied if your work compensates you very, very well in terms of money, but the working conditions are very, very poor? You have a very high risk of getting injured every day? Peace, fulfillment at work, self-fulfillment, self-actualization. Zilak, working conditions, good working conditions for me is key because it's what boosts my morale. Nelson, working conditions. Excellent. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much. Let's go back to the presentation because there is more to it. Yeah? So, what do you value most? Oops, from current slide. Yep, let me do it right. What do you value most? You just mentioned a few points. Very well. But to know yourself, you need to know which job activities give you the most meaning. So the previous question, what do you value most, was a general set of motivators. Financial, working conditions, time release and all that. But then let's move into more depth. What activities do you value most? Because these activities are expected to give meaning to what you do. To know yourself, you need to know what things motivate you most. And of course, you just wrote down some motivators, which is great. To know yourself, you need to know what kind of environments you want to work in. Now, if anyone here works for a mine, extracting diamonds or mineral ores from the bottom of the earth, but he or she doesn't like working in a mine, it means that every day she wakes up and she visits a workplace that offers to her the wrong environment. Yeah? It's important to answer what kind of environment you prefer to work in, what kind of activities you want to engage with in your daily life at work, because this will result to a better career. And that's the next point. What are your career aspirations? So come and match the activities you want to perform every day, the environment in which you work every day, and what your career aspirations are. Only then you can identify if they match your current competencies and skills, and the changes that you need to make in your career management plan. Very, very important, guys. Now, this is the essence of today's session. Skills, activities, interests, values, environment, career aspirations. Here is another question for you. What are your key criteria for a perfect job? Yeah? So all these questions should bother you. Look at these nice doggies right here. It's always sit and stay and heal. It's never think, innovate, or be yourself. So let's put this very nice cartoon into perspective. If you work in a quick service restaurant, like McDonald's, where the service is standardized, it's about sit, stay, and heal. Don't expect in a standardized environment to think, innovate, and be yourself. I mean, if I ask you to make a Big Mac for me, a Big Mac requires 7 steps, not 6, not 8. You need to warm up the bun, open the bun, place the burger, the salad, including the pickled cucumbers, the second burger, squeeze ketchup once, and squeeze mayonnaise once or twice, cover the burger with the bun, and you have a Big Mac. 7 steps. Sit, stay, heal. Don't expect to think, innovate, or be yourself. Now, some people love this. That's absolutely fine. Many people actually prefer to work in a sit, stay, heal environment. The work finish, you go home and you clear your brain from any other thoughts. Some other people, though, will prefer to think, innovate. And as we all know, thinking and innovation exceeds the workplace walls. So you finish work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you go home, but your brain still bothers you, still works, thinking, innovating, thinking of innovation and creative ideas. You choose what interests you more. It could be sit, stay, heal, it could be think, innovate, you name it. But you have to decide and fit all this in your career management planning. Okay? So, let's see. Once again, we are moving deeper now. Yeah? When you value financial rewards, then you care about salary, bonuses, benefits, stock options, and other opportunities for wealth creation. Yeah? If you value intellectual stimulation, then you care about opportunities to try new things, expose yourself to a variety of ideas, and explore problems. Is this what you want to do at work? That's fine. But make sure, what is it that you want? Another point, if you value collegiality, you care about chances to work with people you like and admire. Correct? If you value social mission, you care about an ability to help communities, spread ideas, save people, and participate in positive change. Yeah? If you value prestige, you care about opportunities for recognition and influence. Now, this list is endless. Yeah? I just mentioned a few. If you value lifestyle, you care about chances for flexibility, independence, and work-life balance. Now, you may want more than one. You may value more than one. You make the cocktail and decide what is best for you. Yeah? So, now, let's say that you have identified your strengths, you have identified your weaknesses, you have improved them or you are working on it, you have identified your values, interests, your career's aspirations, and you work towards improving all aspects of yourself, and one day you appear in a room to participate in an interview. Okay? Let's discuss a little bit about that interview, because unfortunately, many of us appear in that interview totally unprepared. When you appear on that interview, you should know what you want and what you are. Your weaknesses, how you plan to improve them. Yeah? You need to be emotionally ready. Nobody cares if my dog died yesterday, and I'm sorry to be so frank. If you appear in the interview, you need to make sure that you smile, that you are emotionally balanced, yet that you suppress any negative feelings, yeah? And you appear alive and ready. And be positive. Don't appear in an interview like a dead flower. Very, very bad impression. Very bad impression. Appear on that interview positive, emotionally ready, aesthetically ready. Wear your nice suit, your clean uniform, and go for it. Polish your nails, not too extra long nails, not extravaganza hairstyles, not extreme makeup. Yeah? Balanced aesthetic and emotional appearance. Also, be punctual. Please, don't arrive in an interview 5-10 minutes late. The boss can be late, yeah, participating in the interview. They can be late, but you should be on time, yeah? Your body language should be positive, yeah, and balanced. Don't make any extreme facial gestures. Look at my face, yeah? No extreme facial gestures, no gestures or body language stance that reveals negative thoughts. So you can Google it. Go on Google and type body language during interviews and see how you should appear. Now, they're going to ask you some questions. Please answer the question set. We don't want you to answer anything and everything except the question set. Yeah? So if they ask you for cucumbers, don't answer about tomatoes. Answer the question set in a proud way, in an informative way, in a modest way, but don't start talking about anything and everything. Yeah? And also, before you go, do your research. Find out what this company is. What is the mission statement of this company? Yeah? What are the values of the company? What is the background of that company? How old is it? How many people work in that company? Yeah? And etc. So, do the research of your company and stay positive during the interview. Very, very important. And remember, you'll be evaluated sometimes in a very objective manner. Let me give you one example, guys. Let's say that we have 2 applicants which have been shortlisted for the same job. Let me show you how you can be quantified. Let's say that we have Benson, and Benson's skills in technology is like 3 out of 5. His writing skills are 5 out of 5. His communication skills are 4 out of 5. His teamwork skills are 5 out of 5. He's very good at teamwork. And his critical thinking skills are again 4 out of 5. I don't know if you noticed, but I used the skills we referred earlier about Unicaf. Now, let's say that Benson competes with Nathanael. Nathanael's technology skills are 2. Writing skills are 5. Communication skills of Nathanael are 3. The teamwork skills are 5. And the critical thinking skills are 4. Now, we have 1 value in every box for each of the participants. Bear with me. Wait. Now, the company you have applied for assigns its own values to these skills. For this company, the technology skills may count just 1. Can you see that? that value next to the technology skill. So for the company, technology skills may not be that important. 1 out of 5. The writing skills, 2. Yeah. The communication skills, they assign a value of 3. For the teamwork, 4. And for the critical thinking, they assign a value of 5 out of 5. So, based on the values we assigned on Benson and Nathanael, the company can do the following evaluation, the following calculation. Benson, 1 times 3 equals 3, plus writing skills, 2 times 5, 10, plus communication, the value assigned by the company is 3, but for Benson it has been assigned 4. 3 times 4, 12. Teamwork, 4 times 5, 20. Yeah? And for critical thinking, 5 times 4, once again, is 20. Now, that was Benson. Yeah? Let's see the score of Nathanael. And of course, these are just examples. Yeah? I'm not saying that Benson or Nathanael accurately have these values. This is just an example. Let's go to Benson, to Nathanael. 1 times 2, you get 2, plus 2 times 5, 10 for the writing skills. For the communication, 3 times 4, you get 12. For teamwork, 4 times 5, you get 20. And for critical thinking, fine, 5 times 4, you get 20. Sorry, I made a mistake for the communication. The communication should be 9. Yeah, 3 times 3, 9. Sorry, guys. All right. So this is these are the values of each individual person based on these particular skills in relation to the value assigned by the company for these particular skills. So let's see who did best. Benson, 3 and 10 and 12, that's 25, and 40, that's 65. Yeah? And then Nathanael, 2 and 10, 12, and 9, 21, and 40, 61. So Benson gets the job. Why am I conducting this exercise with you? To show you that the techniques of hiring have progressed. I'm conducting this exercise with you to show you that you may become a number, and this number will be compared to another applicant's number. You may become a number, and your number will be the result of your skills and the result of your competences. Okay? So, what we have here, the interview, a particular technique. Now, one final point, because 1 hour already flew away, and of course I've tried to cover as much material as possible. One final point before we summarize this webinar. Know how to promote yourself like a brand. What is the difference between a brand and a product? A product, nobody knows it. A brand is unique, like a Diet Coke. Everybody knows it. It has a personality, a character, a long tradition. It has an identity, a reliability. If you open a tin of Coke and it's not fizzy, it expired, you can call and say, hello, I bought a tin of Coca-Cola and the quality is bad. So you can return it and get a new one. If you buy a no-name Coca-Cola, whom are you going to call to? Yeah. So be a brand, be unique, be reliable, be competitive. Make sure that you reveal your benefits to your potential employer. You need to know yourself and be able to promote it like a brand as part of an overall strategizing. Guys, in the previous 1 hour, I made an attempt to offer you a basic understanding of career management by offering the opportunity to participate in some exercises, by helping you understand the importance of identifying your competences, your interests, your values in relation to future career aspirations, by helping you understand if you're at the wrong environment, the wrong place, performing wrong activities. I hope you take all these points with you, and don't forget that this session has been recorded. That means you'll be able to watch it over and over again, okay? And conduct once again those self-examinations and come up with a career management plan. You can also do some background search. There are also books that you can read, but the main point here, you have to decide whether you really want to manage your career or not. If you want to, start your background work, start self-evaluating, start ironing together your aspirations with your skills and what you do. Now, before we close, we have some questions in the question and answer session. Can this webinar recording be sent to me? You'll be able to access this webinar, of course. Can I have the contact of the speaker? You'll be able to raise any questions on YouTube where this is recorded, and I will respond. And this webinar is ending now. Once again, thanks for participating. A very big thank you on behalf of Unicaf for being with us, and keep an eye on future webinars that aim at helping you improve further. Thank you all. Thank you, everyone. Take care of yourself. All the best to you and your families. Stay safe, and remember, keep managing your career. Thank you, Samuel. Thank you, Claire. Thank you, Nathanael. All the best to you. Take care of yourself. Bye.